What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by two things. Since we don't do any sponsorships here on the channel, I'll go ahead and show them out real quick. The first is my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name Aftersound. And the second is a new podcast I just launched called Chasing Infinity. It is myself and ChatGPT as we dive into a wide range of topics in short form videos just like these. So check it out. Links in the description below, and I appreciate the support. Okay, guys, I want to talk a little market crypto stuff. I know this is a gaming channel, so none of this is financial advice, but in the context of Splinterlands specifically, I think many folks are wondering, hey, when will alt season essentially start, right? When will that happen, and when can we expect it to start filtering down potentially into smaller crypto projects like Splinterlands, which at the end of the day, it's a game, but it is a game that exists in the Web3 space. So I just want to cover things here. I don't do technical analysis. This is not any kind of prediction video. So please don't take anything more from it than me just sharing with you the data of last cycle and why I think that we could potentially see something similar if this plays out. I've talked about this on live streams quite a bit, but for those who don't attend the live streams, I'm just trying to make a shorter version video here for you guys. So again, not TA, this is not technical analysis. This is not a prediction. This is just looking at the historical trends and why I think there's a potential that we follow them. Again, who knows what happens in the next couple of weeks, election, rate cuts, all that stuff, but we'll get to that in the end. Okay, so you can even see Bitcoin's taking a little bit of a dump here. We're at 67,000, and I'm recording this on the morning of October 21st for me. So just for a little context. Now, what I've done is we're going to look at both Bitcoin and Ethereum in the 2020 to end of 2021, or we'll just say beginning of 2020 to beginning of 2022 timeframes, because that kind of captures the lead up and then, of course, the blow off top of the cycle, last cycle. So you can see here I have this January of 2020 to January of 2022. And what I want to show you and specifically focus on is Q4. So you can see here in Q4, the year of the halving, we have a situation where, Bitcoin was in September, August, throughout this entire month. And there was a lot of altcoin movement over the summer, which we didn't get this time around. But you can see we took a little dip in September. And then once October rolled around, look at that. Beginning of October, we'll say 10.7 was 10,600, right? You can see that by the time we get to November, we're at 15K, which again, in today's prices doesn't seem like a lot, but that's a 33% move in a month for when, we hadn't even crossed the all-time high. Like 15K was a lot. Like we were within striking distance of the previous all-time high from the 2017 bull run of 20K. And you can see as we go into November, December here, let's go to the beginning of December now, we're at 19K. Right, I don't know when exactly we crossed the new all-time high, which is about 19,000 something. But by the end of December, and I'm going to go here to the last week that we have, 12/28, you can see that not only did we cross the previous all-time high of just under 20K, we blew right through it, 27,000 by the end of the year, right? And this was in 2020. And then, of course, the rest of the bull run goes on. That's history. We're not going to cover that. Now, looking at Ethereum, in that same time frame, and the reason I'm choosing Ethereum is because at least as of now, and of course as of last cycle, Ethereum is the proxy for the altcoin market. When Ethereum starts to go, everything else starts to move behind it. Maybe that's a little bit different this time around. There's a lot of other projects that are not as big as Ethereum, but are have major communities and can be as impactful. But we're still going to use Ethereum just to show what it was like last cycle because there was no project at the same level that Ethereum was. Now you have to understand with Ethereum, I think we topped out over $1,000 in the 2017 bull run, right? So that was the new all-time high. Until we beat that new all-time high, Ethereum and altcoins weren't in, new price discovery mode. So you can see here, let's look at that same time frame. I'm going to go to the beginning of October, and we're $342, right? Still 70% down from the previous all-time high. Now we get into November and you can see we haven't moved much. We're at 400. Yes, it's gone up slightly with Bitcoin, but we're still, we're still not keeping up with Bitcoin from a percentage standpoint. And then by the beginning of December, we're only at 554. Remember, Bitcoin was flirting with a new all-time high. And by the time we get to the end of the month, right, the end of the year, 12/28, 730. So still almost 30% down. Now, once we get into the new year, Okay, so Bitcoin spent like a month and a half exploring new an all-time high, or maybe a month or so. Once we get into the new year, all of a sudden, on 1/6 we cross that $1,200, and then of course the rest is history for Ethereum, and we go into that crazy bull run moment. So why is this important? Why am I showing this to you guys? Okay, again, in the context of Splinterlands, when can we potentially expect this? Now, again, like I said, I've talked about it a lot in live streams, but for those who don't attend, there's 2 or 3 main things that I'm looking out for before the end of the year that could impact, obviously, the the broader markets and whatever, but how all of that ends up filtering down into crypto, and then obviously the altcoin market. So November 1st, I believe there's the jobs reports coming out. I think everybody's excited. I don't know if that's the right word, but everybody's looking forward to seeing what that ends up looking like in terms of determining where the country and the job market are at. You have the election on November 5th. And then you have the next FOMC meeting on the 6th and the 7th. So all this stuff is happening within 1 week of each other. I think it's like Friday, then Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, respectively. So when you have all of that happening within a week, the first week of November, and again, with the FOMC, they're expecting another rate cut, which could potentially lead to a little bit more market activity afterwards. Once all of that is done, I think, and again, this is just my opinion, this is not a prediction, I'm just saying that there's a potential for it to follow what Bitcoin did last cycle, where as soon as all that uncertainty is out of the way and we have pretty much just a clear line to the finish line of the end of the year, once all of that is done and out of the way, the jobs report, the election, and the FOMC, like once there's direction from that, again, it doesn't even matter what happens one way or another. I'm sure it will at some, in certain extents, but just for like the market to have some kind of direction, once that certainty is there, I think we could have a similar situation where all of a sudden Bitcoin starts to run. And the reason that that's important, the reason why I'm highlighting it versus ETH, is that I think it ends up running before the rest of the market, right? We always have altcoin markets altcoin rallies that follow. And so therefore, in my head, the way that I'm thinking through this, specifically for Splinterlands, right? So we talk about the macro, let's take this down. If we get into a situation where, yes, Bitcoin starts to run, that's going to help, of course, right? Everybody's going to be happy about that and start expecting an altcoin, an alt season, but that may not happen until 2025, right? Keep in mind that ETH, back in that same cycle, last cycle, did not cross a new all-time high until the following year, until 2021. Again, is history going to repeat? I have no idea. Is history rhyming kind of right now? Yes, it is. So, could we potentially see that happen? Yes. So why am I saying all this? All right, let's bring it all back to Splinterlands now. Because there's a lot planned for Q1 of next year. In fact, we know that a lot is not planned between now and the end of the year outside of some promos, card sales, including the auction promo, and then, of course, the end of Rebellion. There's also Glamour, which again, we haven't gotten confirmation that that's coming out, but I don't really know what the economic impact of something like that is going to be. Hopefully it's fantastic, but a lot of it is unknown. We do know that there will be some kind of economic impact. I'm talking just Splinterlands economy, right? Once Land 1.75 does come out, in terms of market volume and people trading and all these different things, maybe getting more land online. Again, I don't know what the extent of that is, but there will be something there. And then, of course, hardcore mode, which is something that it's purely speculative right now. I have no idea how that's going to work, but it could potentially offer an opportunity for cards to get soaked up off the marketplace if it ends up being whatever the team is saying. So even if we don't get the new players coming in, right? And speaking of which, we have a marketing person now. We're closing in on the end of October here. I don't know if starting marketing at the end of the year is really important. Now, as somebody who has not necessarily worked in marketing directly, but I've done a lot of marketing campaigns for like my own music and stuff like that, end of the year is just like a really rough time because you're competing with all these other, all these other companies for like cost per click and things like that. And so you're fighting for digital ad space that just doesn't make sense to do during the holidays, right? Like once the holidays are over, it makes way more sense because the, CPC numbers go down, the costs for running ads and all that goes down. Everybody's done selling, right? Everybody's spent a lot of money. So now it's like, okay, well, everybody just take a little bit breather, at which point it might actually be better for us to start our marketing not now in Q4, even if Bitcoin starts to run, but in Q1 as a lead up to, the Conclave Arcana set and all the other game modes that we might have coming out, right? Land 1.75 evolving, what's that called? Hardcore mode being essentially another game mode. And then of course, Glamour and all that. But, that's all I wanted to share with you guys. So, is this a prediction? Is this, no, again, I'm just sharing with you the data. I'm sharing with you what I am personally prepared for. Again, I'm not saying that the end of the year can't be fun. And obviously we'll be watching the fireworks of the end of the Rebellion sale. And I'm still hoping that there'll be massive fireworks there. But if the altcoin rally does not start until next year, that's kind of what I'm mentally prepared for, which means we'd have another 2 months of, maybe Bitcoin going up, maybe it not. But at this point, I think we're all just waiting for that massive green candle and for the bull run to officially start. So again, just sharing this data with you. Take from it just the data, no other insights. That's just my own personal opinion, and I have no idea what's going to happen. But that is all I have for you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.